we are going to be showing you how to clean some antique doll clothes. I usually just kind of do something like this. You put it in there. You let it soak for a couple of hours.
Side by side, kind of what just a little bit of ironing does. I mean,
so good.
Sort of drape this over the head. God, she's amazing. Look at that face.
Welcome to our channel. In today's video, we are going to be showing you how to clean some antique doll clothes. These are undergarments on a very, very, very old antique doll, a French antique doll. But this type of cleaning applies to all kinds of clothes. So you could do this with modern clothes. You can do this with all kinds of clothes, but be careful with the type of material you use when we clean them this way, which is we're going to actually be washing them and drying them and then ironing them. We mostly do this with cottons. Cottons are what we can really do this with. We would never do this with any kind of silk or something fragile. If you're unsure, make sure to post it in a group or something and get an opinion from somebody. But when we, like I said, when we do this, we do it mostly with antique cottons or even vintage cottons or any kind of cotton that we're trying to clean. Now, we don't always clean everything to make it sparkly white, but some things just look better when they are clean. I do like a little bit of age on my antique doll clothes. I don't always want them to be like sparkling brand new white, but on the undergarments, on the fashion that we're working on right now, she'll just look and feel so much better. They probably have not been cleaned ever, or at least in the last 100 years. I am suspecting nothing has happened, so she's gonna feel a lot better. We're gonna be using a combination of Boost and Perk, which you can get from the DollsPart website. No, this is not sponsored. We have been buying these products for a very long time from Barbara at DollsPart, and they are awesome. So highly recommended. We've been using them for however long she's been making them, probably 20 years, and they help a lot. So this, you can absolutely do at home. We have shown before on our channel, but it's a new era here. I'm going to be doing this with Christopher, and Paul's filming, and I'm excited to give you a little tip and trick if you're new to us on how to clean some of your doll clothes. All right, let's go. Welcome to our kitchen. We spend a lot of time in the kitchen. It is not a fancy kitchen. A few times I thought about redoing it, but then I'm like, you know what? It works. It works great. And so we're going to go ahead and do this. I have even given Holland Diane baths in this kitchen. And we, like I said, it's one of our favorite spots because it has all of our snacks and food. But here's what we do. What you do, hopefully you can hear me over the water. I'm going to fill this bin about halfway full of lukewarm water. You don't want it too hot. You don't want it super cold, just lukewarm. So I just use a cup and kind of fill it up. I'll probably add more water, but I'm just going to go ahead and get it ready and show you. And I want to show you our empty bottles of Perk. I don't know why we still have these, but this is the Perk, and you add equal parts, I believe. On the website, she does have the instructions, but we have always just added equal parts. But it cleans, see, it even cleans taffeta while retaining the most original crispness. Removes blood, iodine, food stains, asphalt. Who's getting asphalt on their clothes? And the most other difficult stains from just about any fabric. So pretty good. We will recycle those. I wanted to make sure I'm saying it right just because I don't want to say it wrong, but I am going to show you the way we do it. But on the website, Barbara, for the Boost and Perk, she's got all the directions. So Perk can actually be used alone, but the Boost is a boost. So it helps it out. So you don't have to buy both, but they are made to be used together. So what you do is for every pint, you dilute the Perk, and then for every pint of water that you have, you add a teaspoon of Boost. Now for us, it's kind of like cooking and seasoning with your heart. We season the water with our heart, so we just kind of, you know, do our own thing. So that's what we do. I usually just kind of do something like this. And then this is a fresh thing of Perk Boost. Now the Boost you don't use as much. See, I can already smell the chemicals emanating out of here, and that's, you know, like when you walk into a place and it smells like Fabuloso on the floors, you know they're cleaning. I love it when our place smells clean. Okay, so I just kind of usually do something like that, and see how it dissolves in there. And then I just like do something like this. And if it feels like too much, then I'll just add more water. And I'll probably add a couple more cups of water to this. But that feels like a nice, like I can tell like whatever I put in here, it's gonna be clean, girl. And then you let your garments soak, and then you rinse them. And sometimes you do it again. You do it a few times and let them, if it's really dirty, and you can tell how dirty it is and if it needs to be done again, if the water is super dirty and then you want to do it again. It's kind of like if you're washing your hair and you wash it once, but it still feels kind of gritty, you wash it again. You don't have to use these products, of course. You can use, for cottons are very durable. It's a very hardy fabric. You can use pretty much all kinds of cleaners. You could use OxyClean, which OxyClean you can get, I've even seen OxyClean at Dollar Tree. So you can get that. I think it's $1.25 now, but I think you can get that and work with that too. So there's a lot of different things you can use. You don't just have to use this, but this is great for doll clothes. So we're gonna go visit Christopher and look at our undergarments and see what they look like when they're submerged and if we need to add more. So Christopher is still restoring our wonderful 130-year-old gown that's on our beautiful portrait jumeau. We're having so much fun this week, just revisiting our roots here. And I am so thankful that we can do both. I am just so thankful because I love this and it's really exciting to do this. But then we also do our other thing with our subscription and our modern dolls. And so to do both is a literal dream. And thank you so much, everybody who is contributing or watching or enjoying. So this is the doll we're working with. Now her socks could use a little mending, which we can do as well. We're going to move her up. But she is a beautiful early portrait jumeau. You can see her swivel head right here. She has applied ears, which means her ears were not made in the mold. They were made separately and then they were applied to the sides of her head. That is the indicator of a very early antique doll. One of the indicators. There's a lot of indicators, but she is stunning. She is so beautiful. Luminous. She's gorgeous. I know. She's like, I love her so much. At the moment I saw her, I fell in love with her. And I don't even know why I'm tearing up, but this is like what happens with antique dolls is maybe it's the history that they carry with them and just what they've seen and the fact that they're still here. I think it's just such a beautiful thing. This doll is from 1870. And then we have 1970. So that's 100 years. And then 2000, that's 130 years. I mean, my gosh, she's old and she's just so beautiful. She was covered in, math wasn't my strong suit, by the way, in school. Talking was, though. I did broadcast journalism in college because I could talk to a doorknob for 3 hours. So that was what I was good at. But anyway, back to the doll. We had tape all over the arms. It was very, very old tape, probably 100-year-old tape. I don't even know. And Christopher did what Linda has showed us, which is you just patch it. You just take a kid leather glove and you cut a Band-Aid and you glue it on there. And that's how you patch a kid leather body. And then he cleaned her with the cream of tartar, which we read about this in a doll repair book. Nothing revolutionary, but it's amazing what you can pick up in doll repair books. There's some repairs in the books that are like, that's not the best way, but then there's always something you can learn. So that's where we learn that. And then you just clean her. So anyway, here's the undergarments. They're very dirty. Again, I do like a little age, so we're probably not going to dunk it twice. Just one soak is just going to get out tons, but you won't believe how much better it's going to look. And they just feel better. It just needs to be cleaned. So after we clean it, we rinse it out. You rinse it out real well with water. We'll show you. And then we're going to dry it and then you iron it. I have one more thing that needs to be cleaned. We're going to be talking about him in a video later this month, but I want to clean the shoes, the socks off of our KT Cruza doll VII, which is doll 7. It's a miniature, 14 inches. They only made them for 3 years, from 1927 to 1930. And we got a wonderful one in our doll shop who lives here now. He's so cute. He's going to get his own video later. But his socks, his original socks, are very dirty. So we're going to clean those as well. So then you put it in there. You might need a little more water. And then you just let it go, girl. Look, I don't know if you can tell, but the water, can you see the brown? It's already like the dirt is just like almost instantly the dirt started coming out. It's crazy. You let it soak for a couple of hours and then you got to rinse them, get all that out of there. But like if we rinsed this water right now, it would not be this white color. It's amazing what it does. So we're going to let that soak. We'll see how it does in about an hour and then we'll be back.
1 hour later.
Welcome back. It's been about an hour and a half, and come on in so you can see this, but hopefully you can see, I'm going to pull this, how dirty the water is. So you can see it looks worse in person, I think, than it actually is, because it's pretty dirty. So we're going to go ahead and rinse this and get this water out of here. And already I can tell they're looking so much better. I don't want them to be like bright white, so I'm not going to do a second run of this because she is a very, very, very old doll, and I don't want her clothing to look bright white. You don't want your clothing on a doll that old to be like bright, crisp white, but we do want to just get out some of the dirt and grimes. You can still see the age. You can see a lot of the age on this anyway, so you rinse them real well. Basically, if you're used to hand washing any of your own clothes at home, it's kind of the same thing. We're just showing you some good products to use. But you wouldn't believe, even if your dolls are sitting on the shelf or whatever, and you're not really doing much with them, they just do get dirty. Or if you have any antique doll that you just got, it's probably going to be very dirty, the clothes. And how you handle them depends on the integrity of the garment to start. These are fine. They're cotton. They're not fragile. But if these were fragile garments, or they were falling apart, or there was something that, you know, I'd be handling them a lot more gently. But on something like this, you don't really have to, because they're in good condition. So I plugged the sink and just kind of rinsing them out. I'm going to unplug it and then kind of rinse them again. Get that product out of there. And then we're going to put them in front of the fan, which dries them. Well, I rinsed these super well. And then we like to use, so you can see there's still a lot of age on this. Even after freshly washed, it's still going to have a lot of age. We like to use these terry cloth shop towels that really just absorb real well. They get a lot to kind of give it its first little pat down. And if you're watching this and you're afraid to start, just try it, and especially start on cotton clothes. It's just the easiest one to do, in my opinion. But you can do everything. And if you don't know what to do, like I said, there's wonderful groups out there. YouTube will basically tell you and have tutorials on everything. This is just really basic stuff, but maybe seeing us do it again will get you in the mood. But these shop towels, they call them shop towels because I think you use them in like garages and stuff. We get them at Costco in bulk, and I wash them and use them for years. I also use them in my kitchen. We go through 5 or 6 a day because of Holland Diane. Okay, so let's now go back to our antique department and see what we can do to get these dried. All right, Christopher's working on the Jumeau's outfit. This is our trusty fan. We'll turn it this direction. All right, so what we do is we just get a little clip right there. You kind of just clip it to the fan just like that. If you've got a fan at home, or you can line dry them outside. There's a lot of ways to do it, but that's how we do it. It takes a while. And we might use 2 fans today. Put this in front of another fan.
What?
We got one more little piece. Probably gonna move this piece to a bigger fan and just do this. They dry pretty quickly this way, and then we'll go put this one in front of another fan. So I couldn't find another fan like the one that we had, but I'm just gonna, don't come after me, but this is already drying it, like it's already drying it really well. We have a heat lamp, and I'm just gonna kind of drape it over this chair and kind of flip it and turn it a few times, and that's what I'm gonna do. Keep an eye on it, of course. Yeah, it's like, it's drying it quick actually. So we'll flip it and see what we think.
Many decades. So a couple, wrinkles actually doesn't bother me, especially the sort of delicacy of this. It's a very delicate fabric. I think that's nice. So I'm going to move on to the bloomers, which are a little bit coarser, a little bit denser, and we'll see how those press.
And again, this is our wonderful portrait Jumeau that they are going to be going on. So the final clip will show the undergarments on, and then if you want to see a lot of the behind the scenes of the stabilization of her wonderful, amazing costume, her dress, we have another video that's on our channel right now that is the great dolly cleanup, but we show a lot of that.
So I'm going to see what just doing one leg at a time first is like. This is where it would be helpful to either have various ironing boards of varying sizes, or something called a ham of various sizes. I actually wish that I had a size just a little bit bigger than this, but you can use this when you're doing arms, legs, ribbons are really great to use a ham for. There's many sort of purposes, but these, even if you're like, for something like Elowen, like the scale of her body and like bust in a dress. Sometimes if I'm pressing something new for photography and I want fullness there or in the shoulder or like around the hips, this is a great size of just like sort of puffing out that section of fabric so that when you have it on her, it maybe lays smoother.
And hems, you can actually find a lot of patterns online to make them. They're very relatively easy to make.
Yeah.
I think Tamara Casey even has a pattern on her website. It's a dowel and
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a wooden dowel, and you've got some cotton, and you can use, you don't even have to seal it with anything else. You could just use whatever fabric you have, something that's not going to transfer color or dye or whatever. Think about like a, undyed acid-free something, but just anything that, what's nice about this one is that it's cushioned over the top so that you can get a really nice rounded effect for something if you need to, where this maybe wouldn't be as conducive to that, but is another great tool. I'm going to grab another ironing board. I'll be right back. Well, hello. So I've got one leg of the bloomers pressed, and I'll sort of show you what that looks like. So you can see side by side kind of what just a little bit of ironing does.
So good.
It's a big difference. I think using this is where having a sort of a small ironing board will help you. Like a people size one is going to be just a little bit too big. Like the most narrow point of a human scale one is still going to be too big. But without getting, every single little press out, like I think that's a really big difference. You can see front and back, the difference that makes. It's just pressing. So if you feel any sort of reservation or, general anxieties about ironing, I think this is actually one of the least consequential things you can do for doll garments, antique garments. It's the lowest risk, highest reward thing for restoration you can do.
Cleaning in general.
Yeah, I think ironing is going to be something that if you feel anxious at all, start with that. Start there, because there's very little you can do that would be inhibiting or harmful or damaging in any way. Use your intuition, like always. Like if you've got something that's really tender fabric, really fragile, like you're gonna need to treat that differently than something sturdier and whatever. But in general, I think it's very intuitive.
It is. So I'm gonna let Christopher go ahead and continue on this, and then we're gonna show you the final result of our undergarments for this beautiful doll. She is worth it. She's a beautiful portrait jumeau. Christopher's been working on her basically, and the Brujoon over there for the weekend. It's been such a fun time. This wig.
Right.
That wig.
Naturally curly. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
We're gonna give it some style, but I just washed out that wig, and the depths of hell came out of it. It was crazy.
It was very, very, very dirty.
Nuts. But it's a totally different texture now, keeping all of the sort of like junk out of it. And I'm excited to I just misted some detangler in here, which will give it a little bit of a sheen. That's good for synthetic or natural fibers. So like go to town as far as I'm concerned. I'll see what this does with a really nice gentle brushing with a wire bristle brush on Monday. And then pop that on our little lady over there, our little Brew Bebe. She's so pretty.
She is.
The face is amazing.
She is. You can see a lot more up close with her with our Doll Shop Declutter video, which is already on our channel. So just scroll back. And if you enjoy this content, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, because if you do that, you'll get the notifications of everything going on. And then if you bookmark our channel, we're constantly loading stuff. And then in the video description right now, we have our calendar, so you can look and see what's ahead and what's on our schedule, both with the doll shop, virtual doll convention, doll releases, all kinds of fun stuff. We do it all here, which is awesome. All right, we're back. How's it going?
Pretty good. I've got the base of this, or the basis of this is pretty much done. So I've pressed, I don't know, maybe 75, 80% of this, and I've got just one sort of panel left. This is coming out really nicely. I really like the way that the sort of flounce at the bottom looks after a little bit of love. Again, maybe that's fraught because you're not really going to see this under another two overskirts, but
it really is not. Once you see it, in my opinion, it really is. It just, the doll feels better.
Well, I know that it's going to give her a lot more volume than we had before, which I am looking forward to, but I'm not sure how much of the hem of this you're going to see if you've got a petticoat and a skirt and then an overskirt, I hope you can see this. I should have measured something, but anyway, I'm going to get a little bit of misting here, just a little bit, and then I want to sort of keep this line, I don't want it pressed all the way down, but I do want something that helps keep that a little bit defined. So I've actually taken a pin just gently into the ironing board itself, and I'm going to hold some tension right where that is sewn. I'm not left-handed, so this is a little bit clumsy, but I'm going right up against that line, and then when we get to about here, midway, I'm going to begin taking tension at the hem of the skirt at the bottom and just take some circular motions up, because I still want that defined, but I don't want a crisp line all the way down. You can sort of do the same thing here. You pull that up so you get something really nice and crisp. It looks like it's been starched, actually. I think that's one of the characteristics of air drying that's actually really nice, especially if you're using something like Boost or like OxyClean that has a really sort of strong property. When you air dry that, it just becomes really nice and almost starched. It's very crisp. So that's sort of what that looks like. And then smoothing out anything. Also, you'll notice that I've got my ironing board sitting in my lap up against a table. And I think sort of switching the orientation of that gives me a little bit more control. And also visually, I can see more of what's going on and like what to anticipate. If it's sitting flat, I think it's easier to sort of get lost in the motion of what you're doing and sort of forget like what your objective is. And this helps give me a little bit more framework for like how this is going to lay and like compete with gravity and all of that. Anyway, that's sort of what we're doing with this stuff. And then for the flounce, I'm just taking a little bit of water here and just trying to get out these little teeny tiny little crinkles and get it a little bit more almost scalloped, and sort of pulling against again, tension's going to be your friend. Not so much that you need like a clothespin, because that would just give you more lines, more wrinkles to go back and fix, but just a little bit of tension against the board and then sort of jabbing up into that seam. And then if you get it soon enough, you can actually get rid of little lines like that if you like make one on accident and you immediately go back over it, you can get rid of it. That's when you let that set for even like 5-10 seconds, and then you've got to mist it again and get it wet and whatever. But anyway, we are almost done with this one. I'm going to get this one last panel finished, and then we've got the main petticoat to put on over the garments we've got over there. Undergarments generally are done. And actually, I think I have that shirt backwards. It was on her that way when we got her.
And so her corset was backwards too.
That's what I was thinking, is like I was following suit with the way that we received her, but the corset was backwards. So like maybe that should actually be turned around. But I think it's not bad that way, but it does look a little bit strange. So we're going to remove that. But anyway, we'll get her all properly dressed pretty soon, and we'll see what the reinforced 100 and almost 50, I think now, year-old silk, after it's been reinforced, does over all these like nice pressed, nearly starched garments. I'm very, very excited. I've never done quite such an extensive project for restoration at all, but even something like that's taken a whole week to do that is otherwise very small in scale. It's a big deal, so I'm excited to see how it comes out.
I am too, and since she's going to live in our museum, it's just going to be, every time you look at her, you're going to feel a sense of pride.
And that's so nice, because I already do a little bit. I love to be able to walk through the shop. At this point now, I've worked here it will be 2 years in May.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
And so by now, I've staged the entire store. Everything that's like on display, I've done, which is really exciting. And sometimes it's nice to just like with my lunch or my breakfast and a cup of coffee to just sort of like peruse through the shop and appreciate the things that we have, but also like putting that together. It feels very nice. So I'm excited to add this to that list. It feels like such a trophy of a doll to have, and to have worked on her is very exciting. And I don't know, I think the end product's going to be really remarkable.
She is. And we've spoken a lot about gratitude and everything here, but for you, our viewers, and a lot of you that are watching, our customers, we are so grateful. This place is one of our favorite places in the world. It is our job, and I spend a tremendous amount of time here. We all do. You actually do too, because you tune into a lot of our videos. But it's every day that I walk in, and we do eat a lot of our meals here, breakfast, lunch, snacks. For me, sometimes dinner. I've spent many late nights here. I think the latest I ever stayed here was like 2 or 3 in the morning, actually. And working, it was during virtual doll convention. And the earliest I ever got here was 3:30 in the morning. And that was during Tonnerfest. Christopher remembers what that.
That was a wonderful feat, but it was a feat.
Yeah, I'm not. Not necessarily bragging. I'm all about rest and taking some time out, but it was needed. But anyway, we're grateful to do this and to have this week also to be recentering, cleaning, refreshing, doing a lot of things that needed to be done that I walk in every day, and I'm like, I can't stand that, but I haven't done anything about it because I've been so busy doing everything else. So it's been really, really good. So in the end of this video, we're going to see the clean undergarments on the Jumeau. And then we also have to film some other stuff. So we have a video schedule, which keeps us on track and it keeps you on track. So make sure to bookmark our video schedule and refresh it as much as you can. Sometimes we add stuff daily that comes up here. So hope you're enjoying it. Morning, Christopher. We are back, and you have ironed all of the clothes, and it just, doesn't it feel better?
It's much more, it's like it ballooned out.
It
completely.
did.
And I thought, although you don't actually see it much when it's all assembled, I think this sort of ruffle at the bottom, when that's pressed out like this, is just really pretty. And anyone that is trying to appreciate this doll and looking at all of the layers, like, you'll see that detail as you're sort of rummaging through, you know. But as all the layers come together, you'll see less of that. But I think even for the silhouette sake, like, it really makes such a big difference. So I'm going to put on the last petticoat that we've got here, and then we can assemble the whole outfit.
What a fun project this has been.
Truly, like, this has been really very, very, very fun. So I went through and pressed all of this, and I even pressed these sort of trimmings too. Maybe that feels excessive, but I like that now they're just fluffed enough that they don't sit flush against the panel that they're attached to. So then again, you're going to get more of like a cloud-like floating effect when you're assembling it all together. With something like this, ordinarily, actually, I think when you're wearing crinolines or petticoats or whatever, it's actually easier usually to get for dressing sakes, to get the actual garment on first, and then for something fluffy like this to think of like an onion, like you want to do outermost layers first before you get to the middle, because otherwise if you're trying to dress feet first, you're just sort of fighting fluff. The fluff is supposed to be fluffy, but it's more difficult if you're doing what feels intuitive first. If you're doing like base layer 1 and then, you know, underskirt first and then crinoline and then skirt, you have to get around each of those layers to put on the next one. Another option is to do it over the head, and if the waist and, you know, accommodations are wide enough to do so, then you can just pop it on head first. So I'm going to do that this way. Otherwise, I could have done this panel first and then put on this one underneath it. So sort of shimmying this down. Already, I love the way that skirt fluffs out. It's almost like it's inflated, you know? Like there's
I love it.
Fan underneath.
No, I really do love it, and I think that all dolls deserve to go the distance and to clean them.
Totally.
And this one is just so special that how could we not? Look at the beautiful detailing of these
I know.
undergarments. They're just magnificent.
Right.
This is what's under the dress.
You're like Kmart 6-pack of underwear could never.
Yeah, exactly.
If only we had the attention to detail that, you know, we used to. I'm going to turn her around here. So now that we've got multiple layers with multiple buttons on, you're going to have to sort of layer those together in almost like a zippered fashion, so that if you're layering buttons over buttons, that's going to become really thick, and then it's going to have like tension where you know, can't actually put it on. So I'm going to sort of stagger this around the other side. I might even lay her down. I know that Linda's watching this just dying, like, lay her down, please. What are you doing?
Hey, we're learning as we go. Wonder if that can be pulled to be a little bit more flush.
There was a brooch before that sort of clipped that together.
Oh, really?
But I thought about putting that brooch on the jacket because it was so pretty. It's this like almost salmon colored stone with some like really deep navy accents. It's very pretty. I want to sort of show it off, I think. I'm assuming that if it's not her original, it did come with her, so it's been with this doll for many years.
So if the brooch was on this, then maybe it does button in the front.
See, I don't know, but
Yeah.
of course it was backwards.
I know.
I can't make up my mind.
Okay, well, I'm sure in the comments you have already let us know, and this has happened my entire career here, that I'll get the entire, sometimes I have put the entire dress on backwards
Really?
because it's hard to tell the difference sometimes.
Sure.
But I would think that for if she was dressing herself, it would need to be in the front so she could access her own buttons.
I mean, let's be real. She's not dressing herself. She's got people doing it for her. Yeah.
Well, we'll change it if it's wrong someday, but I think it's fine. Yeah.
Well,
We're her handmaids right now.
So we're gonna throw on the base layer of the skirt. This is like the proper dress part, and this is actually, it's a little bit stronger. It's got, you know, it's in better, stronger condition than the topmost layer that I was doing most of the work with, but I did do some assistance for gluing here, so I want to be gingerly with this. Of course, you're always sort of cautious with the general topic, right? If you're doing antique dolls, you're probably doing so gingerly, but this, I'm just gonna safety pin in the back. That's the way we found her, and the sort of gusseting with that waistband is just loose. I'm not even gonna bother with that at risk of making it actually weaker. So I'm going to go back to my safety pins that I have here and just actually clip this together, making sure you got some nice strong pieces, that you're not just going willy-nilly, okay? And you can still sort of see that button there. And this already like really cascades so beautifully. Like, isn't that alone just gorgeous?
It is, and it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
Like, to know that the garments are clean and her arms are patched, and
I know. Like, I mean, that could be it and I'd be satisfied. But wait, there's more. We've got the real delicate portion here that I've been working on. Again, I'm going to very carefully sort of drape this over the head. I don't think this is the general advised way to do it, but I'm technically doing things backwards. I would be doing top layers first. One of the reasons I'm not is because this is so delicate, and I think trying to put this on first and then flop it up and down and whatever as you're trying to dress other layers would actually be more of a hindrance and maybe more harmful. Same thing with this layer. I'm not even going to worry about trying to fasten it with a button, but I am going to pin it so that it doesn't shift around.
And again, if you want to see the beginning where we did a lot of the work on this before, there's a link in this video to it, but it's the video that we posted not too long ago about reorganizing the doll shop, which then started so we could start working back here again because we had space and capacity to do so.
Right. It's always that way when you're like spring cleaning, or like, you know, you're cleaning your bedroom and you find that pair of socks that you've been missing for a month, and then you realize like there's that slinky I forgot about, and here's, you know, oh, my hairbrush. It's all the things you hadn't realized you'd misplaced. And this was a little bit that way too. God, isn't that huge? She's smuggling a small village of children underneath there.
She just stole a widescreen TV.
Yeah. Don't leave her alone in a Walmart. Wow. That I'm so happy with the way that came out. Like,
she's gonna need a space twice as big in the doll case now.
I know. I'm gonna have to scoot people around. How beautiful. Yeah, I'm contented with that. I know that that's not perfect, but at least it's
gonna last
intact.
Many more years than it was going to.
Fingers crossed.
And that's something to be proud of that we did, and we just hope that this content inspires you to try. You never know until you try.
Trying to be really cautious to not put any unnecessary tug or strain or tension on the sleeve itself, because it is weak around the shoulder. I don't want her fingers or her elbow to really provide any unnecessary resistance. So just taking my time, and then once I have a hold of her hand, I feel better about trusting the arm than I do the silk. Like, that's stronger right now. Sort of slowly wriggling that up over the shoulder plate there. This is especially true of like vinyl fashion dolls, but also applicable in this moment. When you are dressing arms, sometimes it's helpful to have both of them back. So I'm sort of pulling together those arms as I try to shimmy this one on. Because what I want to avoid is making this worse.
Yeah, so delicate.
And you can see where someone else already sort of tried patching that, stitching it back together. I didn't want to approach this with stitching, because I think that the more that you puncture this, as old as it is, with a needle or thread or otherwise, I think the the weaker it becomes, the more prone to like unnecessary tears that creates. So, although glue feels crazy, it actually I think is probably your best option. Sort of get your beautiful golden locks out of the way here.
I hope we can button it. I don't know.
I don't know if we can. I think I would rather actually
Oh,
not
yeah. Well,
give it too much strain.
it's not as tight as I thought.
No, it's not super tight, but so many of these are really like just held on by a thread,
Right.
you know? So I might do a couple and then we just like don't look at her, you know what I mean? Any wrong glance will sort of pop a seam. See if I start maybe at the torso if that's easier. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6. I know Linda's at home yelling at me, lay her down, but I don't want to squish everything.
No, I don't think. I think it's okay. I don't know. I think it might work.
Several of them will. I'm not going to trust every button.
Yeah, you don't need to do it down at the bottom.
And actually, I wouldn't even mind some of those being open, so you can kind of see what's going on. Before, we'd actually had her displayed like
Completely open.
Open, so she was functionally undressed. And I really liked being able to see all of those layers, but seeing the full finished product of the costume come together, I think that one's just, there we go. I think that actually is nicer to see it all completed. That one might be a little tight fitting. Let's try this one. Ooh, I don't want to piss that off. God, it's so fragile.
And if we need to, we can reinforce this bottom piece and create new buttonholes.
Yeah, we could. This apparently, I mean, this came with her, so I think, I don't know, maybe, I don't know where to pop this.
A lot of times they'd be like up here.
Yeah, that feels like the right spot.
Yeah.
Right? That would be pretty. I'm telling you, so many of these details are just literally strung together by threads. I do like that though. That's cute.
So we will find the acorn.
Yeah, and I'm gonna glue that to the thread that's existing there. I'm not even gonna worry about trying to tie it because that's just gonna rip right out. But I am not mad about the rest of that. That is, I mean, she just looks amazing.
She looks amazing.
And I found this hat that I don't know how I feel about. It's a little, it feels a little bit like Pirates of the Caribbean, but I love the colors.
Sure.
The colors in the hat are so phenomenal to me. With all of that blue and orange, that like the way that catches light, I think is breathtaking. And if I can, I don't know, if I can get that to...
I think I like it better with the other way.
This way?
Yeah, mysterious.
Yeah. I want to give her like a really insane purse. Just like this ornamental, huge, gaudy thing.
This might be a little... I don't know. It's not too huge, but...
It might be a little big, but it is pretty. God, she's amazing. Look at that face.
She's amazing. We will do a video about these. Check our video schedule because we have videos airing where we're going to be showing her and some of the other beautiful dolls that we have put into our new antique case. But this is pretty much it. We hope that this was helpful and fun and that you learned something or maybe refreshed your skills.
I hope so.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing it and showing it, and it felt good to be back in action in the antique department. And of course, we miss Linda tremendously.
Every day.
Yeah, we do. But she wanted to retire and move to Oklahoma where she lives, and she's doing great. And so we just miss her, but we are carrying on, which I think is wonderful. So we're doing our best. Yeah, she would want us to. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So thank you, Christopher. I enjoyed this very much.
So did I.
Yeah.
Here's to way more of these in the future.
Yeah, for sure. All right. If you enjoyed it, let us know. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel if you're not, because we'd love to have you on everything. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.